Hello everyone, in the previous Spectral Index video tutorial, we introduced the concepts related to spectra and mentioned that spectra can be used for feature classification. So, this video will explain how to achieve feature classification based on spectra, specifically the software's built-in 𝗠cie by Spectral Angle Mapper function. The 𝗠cie by Spectral Angle Mapper function is a remote sensing image classification method based on spectral similarity. It determines feature categories by calculating the angle between the pixel spectrum and the reference spectrum. There are two modes for selecting the reference spectrum mode. One is to use the software's built-in spectral library or an imported spectral library as the reference spectrum. The other is to use ROI regions, extracting the average spectrum of the ROI regions as the reference spectrum. First, you can use the Show Spectral Profile tool to view the spectral characteristics of different features in the image. The spectral curve characteristic of vegetation is, within the 400-700 nm wavelength range, the reflectance of vegetation is gentle and relatively low. After the 700 nanometers wavelength, it suddenly increases and remains relatively flat after approximately 750 nanometers. The spectral characteristic of bare land is, within the 400 nm 1000 nm wavelength range, the reflectance of bare land continues to increase. Thus, it can be seen that the spectral curve characteristics of vegetation and bare land are significantly different. These differences can effectively distinguish between vegetation and bare land in the image, achieving spectral image classification. Double-click to activate the 𝗠cie by Spectral Angle Mapper function. Select the spectral image to be classified. Click the Spectral Subset button to select the bands used for the spectral angle classification calculation. Mode refers to the selection mode for the reference spectrum. If Spectral Library is selected, the loaded TXT format spectral file will be used as the reference spectrum. Users can also export the spectrum from the View Spectral Library as a reference spectrum file. If the ROI mode is selected, an ROI file in GPKG format needs to be prepared in advance. In the GPKG file, each layer corresponds to a feature category. The software will use the layer name as the classified feature name to output the classification result. For example, this GPKG file contains layers for vegetation and bare land respectively, and each layer has ROIs drawn for the corresponding features. Additionally, ROI also supports importing XML files exported from the ENVI platform. Here, we take using ROI as the reference spectrum as an example. Set the maximum angle parameter. When the angle between the spectrum of a pixel in the image and the reference spectrum is less than this angle, the pixel is considered to belong to the same category as the reference spectrum. If the pixel spectrum is not similar to any of the reference spectra, the pixel ultimately belongs to the unclassified category. Set the output path for storing the classification results. Click OK and wait for the results to be output. Display the output raster by category. You can see that the original spectral image is divided into three categories. Besides the predefined vegetation and bare land categories, there is also an unclassified category. That concludes the full introduction to the 𝗠cie by Spectral Angle Mapper function. Thank you for watching.